I was asked a question of how did I break the cycle of being in toxic relationships? And my answer to that is that one, I had to realize that I contribute to the toxic relationship. What that means is that in every relationship, if there is, any toxicity in it, it's not usually just one person. Yeah, you may have a narc who uses people. However, if you're the person that allows the using to occur, then you're just as toxic because that means you haven't healed yourself and you're not trying to restore yourself so that you guys have a balanced relationship. And so for me, I feel like once I took accountability for what role I played in the relationship, I was able to start taking steps backwards. And when I say backwards, I'm saying backwards out of the relationship and removing myself from that individual. Now, what people don't tell you is that even with taking accountability, you have to be willing to heal because you will remove yourself from that relationship and go to another relationship where you're doing the exact same thing. And yes, it's a different person with a different name, but you're the exact same person. And so for me, I had to start figuring out who I wanted to be. Not even in a relationship, but just in the world. Like, who did I desire to be? Who did I want to show up as? And so when I started, working towards fulfilling myself as a woman, just as who I am, I feel like that's when things started transitioning for me. And I say that because I started valuing myself and knowing that, hey, like this or that relationship, that past relationship does not serve me because that's not who I desire to be. Um, I knew that I wanted to be, I wanted to be whole and I couldn't be whole in a relationship that was only serving me halfway. And by realizing that, I was able to step away. Was it easy? Hell no. Toxic relationships are never easy because sometimes it could be the sex, sometimes it could be your trauma and what you're used to until you've normalized it. Sometimes it could just be that you don't want to you don't want to start over out of fear. And I think that's the most that is the most ridiculous thing that we say to ourselves is that we're afraid to start over because there are so many opportunities in the world, and whether it's jobs or men or relationships, whatever, there are so many opportunities that would give us the ability to upgrade, yet we choose to stay in something that continuously downgrades us. And so when I started taking steps backwards out of the relationship, it was definitely hard. Only because I was like used to what was offered, And because what was offered was like below average, I didn't really have to be much more. And I think sometimes we date down because we don't have to show up any greater than just that. And no one's going to make us um level up because he ain't doing much with his life either. And so we fear our own potential as women sometimes. And it's just like, who do I truly want to be? And that was a question I had to ask myself, like, who do I want to be? And so I think it actually took a lot out of me to try to figure that out at first. I remember saying, I don't want to date at all. That was my first response. Like, I am starting anew. I just want to be me. I don't want anything that anyone has to offer. And I started focusing on me. I started journaling. I started affirmations just to myself and affirming who I was as a person. Because I wanted to be whole. I wanted to be healed. I wanted to just look at myself different. I wanted to feel different. I wanted to feel happy and it not be superficial. And when I say that, I mean, I don't want to just be in love with just certain parts of you or certain parts of me. I wanted to be in love with the whole, flaws and all. And so that meant I had to normalize and start loving my flaws, because I can't love anybody else's flaws unless I love myself whole. And so when I started saying, okay, girl, like sometimes, you be mouthy. Okay, girl, sometimes you be a know-it-all and you think you're right. And I had to realize, I'm like, okay, those are flaws, but how do I make my flaws work for me? And I remember explaining this to a lot of friends. I'm like, yeah, I do come off as a know-it-all. However, I really do know what I know. It's not that I know it all about everything. I know what I know. And so I was like, yeah, it's my flaws, and people would nitpick at it, and he or whoever I'm dating at the time would nitpick at it. And it may be a little intimidating for people. However, it's my flaw. I'm accepting it. We just know that if you're not able to have a good debate, that's not for us, because then friction is going to come.